Hello.
Hello. You can take it.
Hello.
Start seeing what we're doing.
Bro, these are your videos though.
Yeah, but like every single time, not every
It's
single
always me
video.
to do the
No,
introduction.
every single time.
Wait, you kind of look
You
like your
could
childhood
picture me.
crush. The fictional non-human.
Which one?
Mikey from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You just called me a noseless, round-headed, flat-faced. Okay.
And I meant every word of it.
So if you're not holding the microphone, you can
Okay,
just
then
say
why are
it.
you speaking?
Listen. Shut up. So we're gonna go through like some
Episode by
posts.
episode.
No, we're gonna go through like some posts on Reddit to like prompt discussion. But like overall, how are your feelings with the Dragon Prince?
I don't know. I feel like from the previous season, I was kind of feeling like, you know, when you started something,
Yeah.
and it's just like a thing of you're powering through now. That's just kind of what it felt, even like from the what season was this? It's season 7. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Because you know, like I think season 4 to 6 have just kind of meshed into my mind as like one thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I literally only watched this season because I thought it was gonna be the last one. Like I'm literally just at a point that it's like
Wait, it's
I
not.
started no.
What are there comics?
What I'm saying, yeah, is that you see, now I lost my train of thought. I hope you're happy. Because I've been watching it since I think it came out in 2018. I was like so young back
Was it
then. I think it was
2018?
2018.
And then the ship, I go
The ship.
the ship.
It's gonna. I think there's a post with the ship. That ship thing. I was
This
sitting
is
at the
me.
screen.
Please get out of my head. But I need to send you that thing so you can take a screenshot.
Oh please,
Something that I got about was that like when like the show was coming out, we were like, oh, this is by the same people who did Avatar. So like as I was like watching like the first season, I was like making those like connections. I was like, is this like this? Is that like that? And then like I don't know. It didn't really like ruin anything for me. It was just something that I forgot that I was doing. I think only that because Avatar is so like I think it's so good. And it's just like you're telling me this is by the same people that I'm like, is this a thing of they also stop working on this as well? Because
Yeah, okay. This is from user Clarixy. Okay, so from Clarixy, I don't know how to pronounce that. Please say season 7 was actually terrible. Erebos actually didn't do anything to begin with. He was so hyped up to the point where everyone just talked about him as if he were a little god of the universe. And all he could do was talk. That's exactly. All he could do was talk no jutsu. I waited for
wait, what's
spells.
next?
I waited for spells beyond power to be cast. I waited for dark, unchangeable things to be achieved. I also secretly waited for a nice plot twist where you start questioning whether he is evil or just a victim of old chains. But all we got was a 7-meter tall elf who gets chained down by a few common soldiers of Katalis, and he calmly waits for his rescuers. And he did not change at all throughout the entire season. He was tossed around like a lifeless rag doll. Sorry. The only spell he cast was the one that pushed back the Earth Arc Dragon. He had literally zero power because everything was already laid out for him. He just had to pick up stuff conveniently, placed in specific locations, and stand menacingly. Also, in the end, he was destroyed so poorly, bitten by the resurrected dragon, who for no clear reason turned against him. Just the power of friendship cliche as always.
Hey,
All it took to take out a literal god was a bite from the strongest dragon. Okay.
did we talk from here?
So thank you. Yeah, we can just dedicate this section to Erebos because there's so much more to the show. But I feel like we need to talk about Erebos because for me, Erebos is a character that I actually do not care about. Because in like the first 3 seasons, he was there. Don't misunderstand me. And I feel like we could have built him up and I was fine with them building him up. But even like the idea of calling the show the mystery of Erebos,
that whole change.
that's what I'm saying. And there wasn't even that much of a mystery to solve. It just feels like they set up this, like as this person is saying, like this very much he's also they also kind of made him seem a bit more complex, like there's going to be more to him, and they make him seem as if, I don't know, we're going to start like questioning like his morals, all this stuff. And then how they resolve that is by giving us a lame backstory, we're going to talk about that, and be just a weak elf, like you're not doing anything. Also, controversial opinion, I don't think that he's that hot. Anyway, you can
No,
take it.
because that's what I was like thinking about. Because like in the earlier seasons, everyone was like, I was there for it. Like I couldn't even lie. He was a baddie.
I don't
But I don't know how you're denying this, but he
I'm
is
not
a
denying it. It's like he
baddie.
just looks like everyone else.
No. Like what do you mean he's purple?
What? Feeling for purple guys.
Yes.
Was your first crush
Milo
Milo
from
from the
Trees.
trees?
Especially with that name change to the mystery of Erebus. I think there was just like a lot of hype. I don't think it was like there wasn't any mystery. I think it was just that like you're really setting it up so that we can think, oh, there's more to this guy, there's more whatever.
When there wasn't.
And then like it was so anticlimactic. Like, and you know, like when people say anticlimactic and they don't, like, it's just like, oh, you got there and then you don't like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I've never experienced that on like
Such a level.
yes, because it was actually insane. And like looking back, I feel so
Underwhelmed.
yeah, and so unfazed that like the only thing that I'm feeling is anger. Like, what is this? And that was like an after effect, if that makes sense.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
Yeah.
even I don't know if you want to talk about this now of his backstory, but
Yeah,
I
we'll
think
talk
that
about
was
it.
in season 6.
They revealed it at the end
And
of
then
season
I
6.
was like, okay. And even with that, like, it's like, why are you giving me this information? And like, it barely played a part in season 7.
That's what okay, can I just say something real quick? Because season 7, because I'm gonna explain the backstory just in case people don't know, but then also just to unpack why it gets on my nerves. But season 7 did a thing between Erebus and Claudia. Between Erebus and Claudia, where it was like he's her father. He even tells Terry, I'm her father now. And I'm like, what? Come again? Anyway, so the thing with his backstory is that basically, that's another thing, sorry, just like really annoying about the show in general. They have so many interesting things. There's a thing with the theory about Harrow that respectfully, 7 seasons, and you
Please.
only slightly confirm it at the very end. You could have spent the mystery of Erebus looking for that bird, having Ezra and conversing with the bird since you can talk to animals. You could have also
That
spent
whole
time
thing of him talking to animals was also kind of
because that's what I was
low-key.
gonna say. Because Erebus's daughter, basically, she's also a Star Touched elf. How did he have her? Don't ask me. But she teaches magic to a human. Now they kill the daughter, but they don't kill the human. So my theory, and I think probably other people's as well, is that she is one of Ezran and Callum's
that descendants that they
descendants.
keep talking
That
about.
you might assume it's an ancestor of Callum's father, but it's probably the ancestor of King Harrow. Not King Harrow. King Harrow? No, of Queen Sarai, because both Callum and Ezran have special abilities. Ezran can talk to animals, and Callum can use magic without like dark magic or primal stones. He can just be the magic. He can like figure out the arcanums. Um, excuse me.
Sick.
I don't know, but either way, like she could be anyone's ancestor, and I feel like they just didn't really do enough with that. But anyway, so part of his backstory is that the elf gods or whatever you want to call them, they're like, hey bestie, we're gonna have to kill your daughter. And he's like, no, take me instead. And they say, very well, you can die alongside with her. And so he chooses not to die so he can get revenge on them. But his whole thing for revenge is just so general. It's so vague. It's not like he's doing something that is gonna create the death of all Star Trek elves, which would still be messed up and still maybe kind of more larger and general, but still a bit better than just creating chaos, because it was the fear of chaos and the need for order that like it just feels too shallow in my opinion, just to be like, oh, because she messed with the order of things, I'm just gonna mess with the order. Like it's just so like not textbook villain, just kind of like when you're like writing a GCSE like short story, just hear me, and like they're like you got 30 minutes and you're like
That's what
you're
I'm
like
saying,
dang, I
though.
need to like figure out like the villain motivation in like 5 minutes, and that's what you come up with, which is fine if it was like within a timed essay writing space, but in this context, give us something better, please. I think the whole thing with his daughter dying, like his daughter had the bones of something interesting, but also like it didn't really explain like why he's also now going after like humans, non-star touched elves. Like, what do we do to you, sir? Like, it's like fine because like sometimes you can be turned to the point of hatred, you just don't care anymore. But like, I just feel like the turn was just so, I don't know, like I couldn't properly sympathize with him. Like, you know how like Tara and Claudia were like, oh my gosh, that's so horrible, we're gonna be on your side now. Why though? Anyway,
Because also, about the timed conditions or whatever, I was literally just thinking because sometimes I ask like a put whether a post, what am I saying? Whether a show like has their whole plot written down, even like to the last season, or whether they're like writing as they go. And like in this
Sometimes you
first
can tell.
situation, it feels like they were writing as they were going, because I feel like with all of the his name's not Thanos. What's his
Thanos?
purple guy with all his hype? I'm just there
So
like,
the one that you said you had a crush on, he was such a baddie, you can't even tell me his name.
uh, I know his
Erebus.
face.
What's
I
with
know.
Thanos? Thanos is crazy. But
Please.
yes.
Um, but yeah, it just feels like they had a lot more that they were planning to do. So it's just like, why didn't they go through with it? Because I feel
Yeah.
like this couldn't be what they were planning. With the whole I was gonna say Thanos again. Erebus being whole, bro, it ends with an O's. Don't
They're
even
both perfect people who ended their oaths, like
please. Um, with him being held down by the humans, I for real thought that they were making a joke.
I know
Like I was
you thought
like,
he
there's
was taking the
no,
piss. Like he
because
was
why
just
was he
like
smiling at
baiting
them
them.
like that?
Because also like just more on that. Like firstly, the fact that like that's what took you down. Like firstly,
That's what
honestly,
I'm
I think
saying.
yes, the chains were metal, but the things that were holding them were wooden. That made me livid.
Wait, because also, um, with the hype of him, like this is why I'm just like, so there's no way, because when like in the first seasons when he was like in the ear of that guy covering his eyes or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, oh, he's not as powerful as he could be because he's stuck in this glass thing.
So you
So
think, oh,
when he
he's gonna
gets
come out,
out,
he's like,
you're
oh,
like,
it's gonna be like
that's what I'm saying, like
game
it's
over, and
over.
like
That's
we're
what I'm
being serious
saying.
now.
And then now you're being held down by wooden things, like
by metal chains, like respectfully, what? Like, don't you have a spell that can turn chains into snakes?
that's
Like,
what I'm saying. Like, aren't you like, even if you
a
weren't
wizard
strong
is
enough,
crazy. We're gonna say wizard.
aren't you a wizard?
That like more on him being like chained down. Funny you talk about how dumb it is, but my thing is also when he revealed where the only sword that can kill a star-touched elf is being kept. That was the one that I was like, it's too obvious of like a trap, but Ezra didn't care. But I don't think they did enough explanation of why that wouldn't kill him or why it would be bad if Ezra used that on him, because they said that like if they just
They did, or they didn't need an explanation.
they didn't give an
Or
explanation
they didn't give.
because I think the bite from the dragon would keep him away for like 13 years or something, or 7 years, one of the two. It was the two very different numbers. Not that different.
Please.
They're kind of the same number if you deep it.
What, 2 and 2000?
7 and 13. What are you talking about?
I thought you
Anyway,
were making a joke.
the point is that I think that like I thought the sword means that he'll be gone for good and not just dead for 7 or 13 years. Do you see what I'm saying? But they
I
never
think
actually
it's 13.
explained when the stars align. Do you see what I'm saying? But like he just kind of revealed to Ezra, because as according to Ezra, he was just so arrogant. I just feel like they were trying to do too much with Erebus. They're trying to have him be like that
Balls.
calm, calculated villain who like thinks his plan through, but then he's also like so arrogant and cocky that he gets dumb. Like I just don't know if I bought all that. But yeah.
Also with that whole killing him at the end, like with the sword, and then also with
Say sword?
sword,
But
and
do you
then
say sword though? Because I feel like we've had this conversation.
okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Um with that, and then also Callum being like, I'm gonna say he's gonna sacrifice himself.
Is that me?
Like, bro, too many things were happening in that scene, all for it to just be like everyone lives. Like, does that make
Everyone
sense?
knows what.
Everyone lives, apart from like the dragons who like are barely in this show.
Yeah, like also what
Do you see what
happened
I'm
with
saying? Like,
Zendaya being like written off the show for like how long? Shows up for 5 minutes, dies anyway.
girl, that's what
We're
I'm
gonna talk
saying.
about that because the next thing he talks about is Zim, so we can talk about that later.
Zim.
Zim. The Dragon Prince itself played no role at all over the course of the complete 7 seasons for the entire series. Of the entire series, sorry. The complete show is named after him, and all he does is bark, unable to speak, and look cute or like butthurt baby, depending on the situation. When he hatched back in the day, I was so sure he would defeat Erebos. He would grow so much and restore order based on how the king and the human race taught him. I had infinite hopes for his character, and they managed to completely sideline the main protagonist of the show and secretly shift focus to Callum and Rayla. Just real quick before like I move on to like the response to that, because it was actually pretty interesting. I will say that I don't know if I can buy the Dragon Prince as a protagonist of the show. Is he the main point, and should they have made him a bit more central? Yes, for sure. But I feel like Callum, Ezran, and Rayla were always going to be like the core three. But I do agree, like a lot of these comments are kind of saying the same thing of like he spoke too late in the show and he doesn't do anything. Because that's what about the speaking. So someone said from Far Source 15. Also, Zim talking this out of the blue like he's a character on a Disney show at the end felt so underwhelming and out of place. He just became an orphan, so why did he say nothing to his parents before they went? Instead, he saved his voice to crack a joke after the fact.
Wait, what did they say?
He just said something like, he just said one word and they were like, wait, what? He's like, oh yeah, I talk now. Something like that. And you see, it would have been like, I think
Like,
spoiler for the boys, but like you know how like Kimiko doesn't speak for the entire series, and then like right at the end when Fenty's being taken away, she
or
says
maybe even
no.
like Planet of the Apes with that whole.
Say it again.
Or maybe even Planets of the Apes.
Because like I'm telling you, that scene. Also, in Gasper, that's the scene that like that's why cinema was created. The history of
Please.
cinema, it all led up to that moment because that moment is so powerful. It's so
Girl,
important.
okay.
Do we see how Caesar talking isn't made like a joke at the end of the film? Like he's like, "This is my Planet of the Apes," like something like at the end, like something goofy
Ew.
like that. Like no, it's something like that actually means something. These are Zim's first words, and like
And
it's
it's a
just a
joke.
joke. Yeah, and
Please.
like someone pointing it out that this is like literally after he's just been orphaned. He hasn't seen his mom for like how long after she got like bitten, but we'll talk about that bite. I think it's so stupid
Oh my god.
that she hasn't
Like,
got, she got bitten and it got shrunken down to a mushroom and then became big and then died.
she got shrunk.
What?
Girl,
Girl,
go
did
off
you
me
watch this
again.
show?
Please. Sometimes I was just there twiddling my fingers, dissociating.
I feel like you were just kind of watching the show to say you watched the show, but I'm asking you stuff about like season after season 3 and you're like, what?
Girl, that's what I'm saying. It came out so long ago. Like, bro, you can't expect me to be like holding on to
Please.
memories while I'm supposed to be like. I need to clear some space in my mind to be
Something.
smart.
I think another really irritating thing about the show that it does is that it, you know, like think end of Avatar, think the final fight between the Fire Nation and everyone else. That didn't need to hype itself up. The whole series was building to that moment. It was good. But I feel like the whole of the Dragon Prince has not necessarily been building to a fight with Erebos. And if so, we don't even really know what the stakes are. Because like think about like Susan's comet coming in. You're seeing Ozai like unleashing his power, like showing how much more powerful he's gotten because of the comet. So you know like how much Aang has to like overcome to beat him, right? But like the Dragon Prince, we don't know Erebos' skill set. They've kind of kept that quiet. So like when they're all fighting, we're made to feel like it's epic because of the music, because of all the characters coming together. But like it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like everyone's just there, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. They also like seeing like Callum need to use dark magic and then get shot immediately, and I just couldn't buy it because I feel like they didn't do enough explanation of the magic system, of Erebos' powers, of how to keep Erebos detained. That's just my personal opinion. So like it just kind of felt like a bunch of mumbo jumbo that I was like, why are we jumping to Callum needing to be shot in the head after he performs a spell?
When he starts talking to his dark magic self, this is me. There's no way.
Now I understand why the writers might have wanted to try and make him a bit more like less
Like,
of that, like angsty basically in like the final season. And don't I'm not mad at the fact that he's upset that Katala's burned down. I'm not saying that. I just feel like he was just so mad. Like because I'm not saying he shouldn't be
he was so
angry.
mad.
But I'm just like, shut up. Like, no, no, not like that. Like he was acting like it was like a personal attack. When it's like it was first of all, it was so Reagan. Like nobody stands with him, not even the elves. Like nobody likes that guy. It wasn't like he was doing it to wage war on Catalyst. It wasn't like he was just doing it and he's whatever. And so I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been upset and shouldn't have taken measures to like rebuild. But like the fact that it did take like I don't know if I just got behind it. We're gonna talk about the whole thing with him and Runan.
Oh.
Because that was the only thing in the show that I feel like people were being a little bit too mean to him.
Oh,
Because that is the man
what's
who
his
just
name?
not the man.
The child.
Runan, yeah, Ezra. Because Runan, the man who killed his father, literally just like strolls in and is like, "Oh, hello there," and like
That's what I'm saying.
you're expecting like nothing to happen. Like obviously time has passed and everything, but like you're still the man who killed his father. Elf, you know what I mean? But otherwise, I just feel like Ezra was given very little to do this season.
Because also, so this isn't really about Ezrin, but more about like in general. I feel like especially towards the end, the show was doing a lot, like too much in terms of like big reveals, because like they weren't really big. Because I feel like the reveals that they had me like
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like first one was not like in the right order, but with the not Star Touch elves, the sky, whatever the elves, the ones who don't see, and the girl
Oh.
takes off her blindfold. I'm like,
I'm like,
okay.
that's another thing. So they introduce characters like so late,
They're
and then
like,
expect me to care
that's
that
what I'm saying.
much.
Like, I
But
feel like
yeah,
there was so much of that.
Karim, sorry, what was the funny thing?
I feel like there was so much of that. What was another example that I was trying to think of? God, I forgot. But like, I feel like there was.
Did you forget?
I forgot. But there was a lot of that this season, and I was just, I don't know.
Because we can just move on to Kanan right now because it's the same thing as Ezra. What can I say about him? He basically did nothing for the whole of the seventh season and then was like, oh no, I need you to do dark magic again. Actually, no, there's
That's
another
what I'm
way.
saying.
Actually, no, I need you to do dark magic again. Also, the whole thing with him and dark magic.
I did remember as well. Sorry about those little reveals or big reveals or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Um, what's her face? Claudia killing that fish lady.
Mm.
I didn't know her. Like, am I supposed to care? Like, I
Wait,
was
do you
just there
actually know who
like,
she is?
yes, I know who she
Okay.
is, but like, I was just there like, okay,
Mm.
and she just died, and I'm like, oh, she's
Mm.
dead,
Mm.
please.
Mm.
But sorry.
I feel like her death was also treated more so not oh we've lost a character, but oh we've lost a prop. And like not to be mean, but like she
Hey.
was the one who could like make the prison. Also, the whole
Mm.
thing of getting to prison, that's a different, we're going to put that in a pin in that because that also goes into, I can't find the Reddit user, I can't remember who it was, who said, I think it was either season 4 season 5. They said like one sentence, this season could have been an email. That's also how I feel about basically seasons 4 to 6,
Yeah.
because there was one season that
7.
set up, that did nothing but set up the next one. I think it was
Oh, I see.
5 set up 6 or 4 set up 5, something like that. That like I was literally
And 6 was a setup
livid.
7 there.
Yeah, and it's like kind of like obviously you should set up the next season, but like nothing, you could skip it.
Yeah.
Like I think it was a season where they weren't getting the map to get Erebos. They weren't like on a journey
The
to
one
get
that they got from
Erebos.
the one
They
that
were
the
they
person
were on
steals.
a journey to get the map to get to Erebos, and that was like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
What is
And
this
then I
like?
have to wait a whole
It's
year.
giving
Like,
video game quest. Like no, you need to like go over there to do that, and then I come back. Shut up. But even like the whole thing with like Erebos' prison, I just felt like it was one of those things of like I just couldn't care. I just couldn't care. And even like when Callum accidentally
with the
swapped them, I was like,
and they had that whole thing of like, bro, why it's giving Twilight. That was literally Twilight. Why did I just watch the same thing twice but different? Like, don't do this to me.
please.
Like, oh no, sometimes the truth.
And why
Shut
was it?
up.
Why did it
And
have
it's
to be
like,
Callum who swapped them? I was very confused.
yeah, that's what I'm
Some things
saying.
weren't making sense in that show, but yeah.
Yes, you were. Like, you couldn't. He didn't
Oh,
do
the,
much
the
in the
dark
black.
magic.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
the black magic.
Because I want to say something about like his whole his whole arc with dark magic. But you don't know what you're saying though.
Oh, I was just saying that like those elves and the brother who could see the future, whatever.
I don't care about
I just
them.
genuinely didn't.
I
I was
feel
just
like
there like,
I can make a whole list of irrelevant characters who you want me to care about, but I literally do
that's
not.
what I'm saying.
Karim is also it's giving subtle foreshadowing of our Karim
Please.
section.
Please.
But anyway, my thing with Kalam's dark magic, Kalam,
Kalam.
I did say that weird. Is that like I was fine with that being part of his arc, but I also feel like they kept doing it and resolving it,
That's what I'm
then doing it
saying.
and then resolving it, and then doing it and resolving it. And it's like, can you give us something else though? And so like the first time he did it when I think there was like a dragon that was like captured and he needed to use like this, he did the spell with the snakes, and then he had that whole existential crisis, and then he unlocked the wind arcanum. That was the moment that it felt like the show was saying that dark magic is a shortcut to get to a goal that can be arrived at in other ways. Do you see what I'm saying? And that no matter how desperate, he shouldn't use dark
Yeah.
magic. That's what I thought the whole message was, and like he was kind of forgiven for it. And he does it again.
And he does it
Then he does it
again.
again. And it's like, okay, so it's like, which one do you want us to do?
Yeah.
We shouldn't do it, it's bad, or we should only do it in desperate situations, or it's okay sometimes. Just let me know. Because Callum's also the only dark magic user who's a good guy.
Yeah.
Everybody else is evil, crazy, or both.
Except maybe that old guy. Didn't he turn into a good guy? He stopped doing dark magic.
Viren's teacher.
Yeah.
He was the one who blinded Solregum, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, but I know he used to do dark magic.
Isn't he also
then-
like might have eaten himself or something. He wasn't.
I don't want to know about that.
He did like he wasn't as bad as Viren. Like maybe Viren was doing something. He was like, "You've gone too far," but it's not like he was
okay,
a
so
saint. On the other
I
hand,
thought it was like he got better or something
no,
like that.
he didn't.
But also like on
I
this
don't think so.
Callum thing, is this like how you were saying in season 7 he wasn't really doing much. I feel like
Until the
that's what I'm
question of
saying,
dark
that's what I'm
magic
saying.
comes about.
I
but
feel
yeah.
like they were like, oh no, the man isn't doing enough. And they're like, let's just bring back this dark magic.
It's like,
and then
let's use the
and
one card
viewers are
we
just all
have.
there like,
we're tired.
please come back.
But yeah, so I'm saying like
You
it's just
just like that cat.
please, it's just giving one trick pony, and like
One?
one trick pony. Like you, like there's nothing else going on here, and especially like when you think about like a show like Avatar: The Last Airbender, for example, it's like a thing where like Zuko has arcs that get resolved, but the underlying issue that he has, needing to find his honor, needing to prove himself, needing to redeem himself, all his anger issues, never get resolved until the very end. So him regressing on certain things, like especially at the end of season 2, isn't a betrayal because he hasn't actually learned the lesson. Do you see what I'm saying? Especially like in Ba Sing Se, he didn't actually overcome everything that he felt. He just didn't have a choice. He just had to make a life for him and himself in Ba Sing Se. And he was like, you know what? I'm here. I'm just going to do that. But as soon as he had the opportunity, as soon as Azula gave him that choice, that was when all that stuff that he never actually learned from, that was when it all comes back.
Yeah.
So if they had like made Callum's dark magic thing either the underlying issue that never gets resolved, or if they had made it a thing that gets resolved, but there's something else underlying. Like he feels like a boring little white boy. Sorry, he's not white. Like he feels like boring and uninterested. Then you do your little, uninterested and he can't do anything. Like Sokka, sorry. But like, you know how like Sokka has a whole thing in book 3, chapter 4, Sokka's master.
Go, please. Could you
It's like one skill in life. Anyway, if they did it like that and like so he's already feeling like so, I don't know, unimportant, useless, gay. If he was already feeling that way and he tries to do it is a joke. He tries to do dark magic. Do you know the meme I'm talking about?
No.
I looked at myself in the mirror and I based myself based on what I read on the comments. I felt worthless. I felt ugly. I felt gay. I felt
that he has some underlying issue of like irrelevancy, let me say it like that he tried to use dark magic to cope with it, and he learns dark magic is bad, but he still hasn't gotten over his lack of relevance. So then he has another thing later on where like he tries to, I don't know, he tries too hard to get the sky arcanum. No, he already has a sky one. He got the ocean one. He never got sun. He tries too hard to get the sun arcanum, and he ultimately fails. And then he learns why that was wrong. Like he was just doing it to feel important, but not actually understanding how to get the sky arcanum. Do you see what I'm saying? The underlying thing is still staying there. So the resolution at the end of the show, or like towards the end of the show, should be resolving feeling irrelevant, if that makes sense. Instead of dark magic is bad, I use dark magic. Oh no, dark magic was actually bad. Next season, dark magic is bad. I use dark magic. Oh no, he's actually bad. You just keep doing the same thing because we haven't gotten a clear enough understanding of like what is. I hate to say the word underlying all the time, but that's what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
First of all, on that, like I feel like it. This could be a bit of a stretch, but it could be representing addiction. But I feel like even with like if that's what you're trying to represent, even more so that idea of having like an underlying problem, because usually with like addiction that is like something
it doesn't like always exist in a vacuum. Sometimes it does, but like more often than not, no.
That's what I'm saying.
And I feel like if it was addiction, it would need to be treated just a little bit differently. But maybe yes, like if like there's case like if we can see there's clearly a point where he could have done the better option, but he goes with dark magic to show that he like the part of him does like it.
Yeah.
And you see this is something that like if you just lean into it, if you just say what you're doing, you know what you're doing in your head, then the audience will feel it and will be okay with it. If you want to treat dark magic like an addiction, go for it, but write it that way.
Yeah.
Something I think you're trying to do too many things at once. But yeah, go ahead.
Because also I feel like they could have done that underlying thing. Not like they should have, but they had the material there in the first place. Because okay, my memory is a bit shaky, but I'm pretty sure in the first season there was that whole thing of Callum being like, ooh, and I want Claudia or Claudia, whatever.
Oh, he did
And
have a
then
crush on her. I forgot about that.
yeah, and so then I'm pretty sure, was he always doing magic? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure, wasn't it the magic, like not dark magic, but magic that made him feel kind of like,
Yeah, exactly. And
so it's just like
the bones were there.
like immediately they've taken that element away, but they could have like continued it for longer to create that underlying aspect of it.
That's what I'm saying.
But then
yeah.
like he already fixed that with the normal magic.
Oh wait, this is a fun one. Because I think we should start talking about the Sunfire Elves now.
Oh please,
Karim! Meaningless sacrifice after meaningless sacrifice also angered me. I didn't even take the time to learn the Sunfire Mage's name, but his death was hilarious.
Major.
And I hope that they meant it as a
Karim.
joke. The mage. No. Do you remember there was another thing that like I think Erebus was possessing him?
The white person, the one with the white hair.
No. He was like riding on Silver.
Yeah, that guy had white hair.
He was bald.
He had white something. Eyebrows, maybe, I don't know.
Anyway, and then I think Silver
He's
ate
bald.
yes. My God, can I talk? Silver ate him.
Yeah.
And then he died.
Yeah.
I don't know, like okay, the whole Sunfire, like that's the thing about you know when you're watching a show and like a villain has like a plan, but it's like very like complicated, like many steps. So you or show really, and so you wait till the end to be like, oh, so they did what they did. But then there's times when you get to the end and you're like,
did you say
why
Viren?
didn't you just what? Viren?
I thought you said Viren.
No.
You didn't say Erebus.
And you get to the end and you're like, oh, why did this person need to do all that? So that's how I feel about like Erebus's plan. Like when he was like with the sunfire elves, like tempting them, and then like they messed up the wedding, and then they like have to do a truth with Kaki. All those shenanigans with the Star Touched Sunfire, whatever you want to call them, with those elves. I just feel like in the grand scheme of things, I don't really understand why he needed it. Also, like the writers, they can just make up anything. They'll just be like, "Oh yeah, you need the bone of an arch dragon to unlock Erebus from his cage." Okay, it just felt more like they didn't write the spell first. They wrote what they wanted to happen first. They were like, "We want Sol Regum to die. We want, I don't know, Karim to do some nonsense in the season. We want this, we want that, we want the other." But then like they're like, okay, and then we're just gonna write Erebus' spell to unlock his prison as all this. And it's just like I was sitting there like this, like the whole last few seasons. I'm just like, oh, guys, what's happening? Okay, yeah, let's just get into it.
Karim.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because
but I'm not. Let me set up. Because Karim, I know we're gonna.
No, we're not talking about Karim first.
Who do you want
Because we're saving the best for last.
Who just want all the Sunfire?
Just the whole sunflower elf thing.
It's not sunflower, but anyway, let me wait. What I was gonna say, just hear me. This goes back to what I was saying before about about it being more about the adults now, and especially when it comes to Amaya and Janai, which it's like
no,
Janai. It's Janai. It's all well and good. I thought they were cute enough. I just feel like you're not the main characters, and no, but like you know what I mean in the sense that so even like I think it was season 4 that it all started with the Sunfire Elves. Season 4 was called Sun anyway.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, you know what?
That makes sense,
fine,
yeah.
you can be here, and I'm okay with them showing up in like other seasons. It's just the fact that you guys are still the plot for season 5, 6, and 7.
Tell me why I know more about them than I do about like Rayla's like people.
That's what I'm saying. We also because we barely spent any time in the moon shadow people. It started because there was a division between the human culture and the elf culture. And there was a whole thing about like how she wanted to like light a candle.
That's
and
what I
this
was gonna
one
talk
lady
about.
thought it was a hazard, even though shut up. I feel like there's some fire elves, like they can they'll deal with the fire themselves.
Because also like she was building like a place around these fire people with materials that are highly flammable. I don't want to victim blame, but, like,
but also like no fire had happened.
I before that.
I don't know. And like, who burnt her? She got burnt somehow. Oh no. The other elf got upset, and then I think she touched something that she was touching, or like she was holding her hands,
And then
and
she was
so
out there with her Powerpuff.
and I know what you're talking about, and I cannot include the reasoning behind you calling it Powerpuff Girls. That's what I'm saying.
But like, she
The
was out
point
there
is,
like
yeah.
crying, and I was just there like, I don't like you, and I don't care.
Yeah, like I was just saying the whole time, like I don't really care, and like it being like a thing of like, oh, should she side with the humans or like the elves? Just kick her out.
I feel like this is also another thing of like
No other
they
human was
wanted
crying.
conflict, so they wrote plot around that.
That's what I'm saying. But even then, that is where the Karim's thing starts.
Yes, actually.
But then like it never goes back to the discussion of human and elves, really. Like Karim says he's doing this stuff for human and elves, but it was more so just about
the elves.
No, his own power. Because even when his girlfriend gets pregnant, he calls it the heir and not
Please.
his child or his son or his daughter. And the girl's like, "Ooh, I don't know. That's not kind of hot. That's not hot." But yeah, so let's just can we talk about Karim?
Yeah.
He, if I was to make a list of characters who overstayed their welcome in the show, he is at the
How
top.
is he not dead?
Because somebody pointed out the fact that he.
Oh my god, he did
die. He did die in the because
he
he was an. Imagine no, Ari was didn't. He wasn't worth eating.
Squished him,
He squished
and then
him,
like the
yeah.
blood was
Yeah. Also,
he
because like not to be that, not to be a person, but you know, like Janai's sister.
She has a sister.
She had a sister.
Oh my god.
She died, and the sister says, "How did my grandmother die?" I don't know why she didn't care about her mom. I don't know what happened to the mom. It's just like we go to grandma.
It's always women.
I suppose. I don't know. Girl, ask me again. The point is that Erebus whispers something in her ear, and then she like dies.
Bruh.
I think he kills her afterwards. But the thing he whispers, like he said, I swallowed her, which I'm not trying to say that that's not like a disgusting thing to do to someone. It's just before you know what it is, like the sister's eyes like widen, like she starts like crying and everything, and like the grandmother's obviously dead. Do you know what I mean? Like if it was like she was looking for her grandma, I'm looking for my grandma. What? So he called out to his grandma, grandma. But his grandma was in town.
This is ADHD.
So he turned himself into a ball and rolled himself
He was
back
on a
down.
candlestick. He's a mouse.
I guess like if you deep it like when a candlestick melts, it kind of creates like a slope.
It's still smaller than him.
I'm like focusing on the wrong details. Because I was thinking about like him rolling down like a completely like perpendicular to the ground thing. Like what's he rolling down? Anyway.
Also, the real actually.
But anyway, no, but I think that I was thinking about the slope. Anyway, that's completely irrelevant. So like I'm not saying that it's not barbaric to eat someone. I just feel like if it's Erebus, if he stabbed her, if he ate her, like she's still dead. Like I don't feel a person, but anyway. So like this is where Karim enters the picture after like the whole situation with the elves and the humans, and Karim is now here. Now
was he existing like during that sister time? Because I don't
no, because like he also just like shows up and she's like, oh yeah, I have a brother, and I was like, you weren't here. Like I feel like he wasn't.
That's not a real brother.
He wasn't actually there.
Hey.
The thing with Karim, because I don't have the energy to talk about his decisions one by one, because I genuinely, truly, and honestly do not care. But the first thing he's introduced was season 4. And does this little thing, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Then he comes back in season 5, and I'm like, okay. And I hope that he was gonna be like he says at the beginning to like get the ball rolling and then die or something.
Wait, was season 4 the one of the
For the what?
The Powerpuff.
Yes.
Well, both of her hands burnt.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, aren't you supposed to like let her burn air?
Rather than wrapping it.
Yeah. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. Anyway, the point I'm trying to get at is that so in season 4 he comes back and you're like season 5, sorry, and you're like, oh, he's still here. Season 6 he's still there. Season 7 he's still there.
Please.
And you know, someone pointed out to him, I think in season 6, someone posted on Reddit. They were like, hey yo, have you ever realized that he's supposed to be like this like serious antagonist? He's never met Raylan, Callum, or Ezran. I think he finally meets Ezra in season 6. But I think it's probably season 5 when the person mentions this. Because he's being treated like Viren. But Viren is a character that's important.
Yeah.
He's someone that Ezra and Callum have known for years. And eventually Rayla learns that he's the reason her parents are gone. We're going to talk about Rayla in just a second. The point I'm trying to get at is that he is something in the story. He's also Soren and Claudia's parents. They're like almost antagonists, kind of like in between. And then Claudia becomes full-on antagonist. Soren becomes a good guy. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, he meant something to the story. He was a threat. We knew what he could do. We knew that he had very shifty morals, but he could also be sympathized with at times, which is also what made him like an endearing villain. And I was fine with him dying and coming back to life and wanting to die again. That's like fine. But then like, if you're gonna kill off one of your villains, bring us a better one. And Karim was not a better villain. Karim was stupid, useless, irrelevant, and he took too long to die. He took too long to die, and I'm so glad he died, because when he died, like, there's no way, like, you're actually, like, he also, like, betrays his sister again.
Bro, please.
Like, the whole
Also, like,
show,
what
I'm
was he
like,
planning on doing with that? I'm so glad that that's
like,
when he
you do
died.
really think that Arabo saw you as, like, an important ally?
Please.
Do you really think that he saw you as serious? And even if he just didn't finish the spell, oh, I hate Karim with every fiber of my being hates him. He is so useless to the story, because the story, like, the thing with like the Powerpuff Girl and the other elf, resolve that, let that be Janai's arc. Because that's something I also feel like he overshadowed Janai, and I already feel like the adults in the show overstayed their welcome as well. But like, at the very least, Janai was interesting enough. And I feel like she could have gotten a really interesting arc. And I feel like the brother was just doing too much, that if he just wasn't in the show and it was about her reconciling the new people with like the humans, that would have been okay for season 4, and then teeter out in season 5 and 6. But Karim has to just be a person. And anyway, also, sorry if you're wondering why we keep saying Karim like that. Like, I don't know the background of the voice actors in the show.
Such that
And
they're actually like,
please, it's okay if they're like, it sounds like West African French, yes, which is like a-okay, but it's also one of those things that like, it really feels like they're really like, even if they are genuinely, you know,
were
West
told to
African
do it
French,
because they
they're
didn't
told to
sound-
like amp it up. Like,
And so the directors are like, you don't sound French enough.
it's so aggressive. She also like this like all the time, like there's a little too much going on in those accents. I mean, personally, I don't know if I bought that we were able to do it like that. That's just me. But yeah, you go, because I'm done with Kakim.
Hey, because also just more about the Viren thing that you were saying, and like just adding on to what I had said before about Viren, is that like I think I liked him as a villain and I liked him as a character, because they had that whole, oh, he's a villain, and then they gave us that death thing, and then they gave us like his backstory, and I thought that was nice, because like if we're comparing him to Thanos, if we're comparing him to Arabus also had that whole child backstory, but with what's his face, Viren, he had that child backstory, and like I felt that sympathy for him, but like it didn't make what he was like. I understood his line of thinking, but it didn't make what he was doing good, and didn't make me think. How do I say this? Because then he tries, like when he's alive, he tries to come back doing good, like to make
Being better.
That's what I'm saying. And like it's just like it's not really like. I think he can still be a good villain even if he was going back on his, or like trying to be better. Like even if it wasn't. What the fuck am I talking about, girl? I think I'm tired. But like I think you're getting what I'm saying.
Same.
But I just feel like it was just so sad because, girl, because 100%, if you're gonna kill him, bring a better one. And like if you can write a good arc like that, if you can write a good villain character like that, and you're kind of having similarities between him and Aravis, why weren't you doing more? Because there was a lot more setup for Aravis than there was for Viren, and Viren turned out better. So I just feel like I don't know, like sometimes they put their good into certain things, and it's like, oh damn, you can actually do good, but then like you don't transfer it to other parts. Then I'm just like, what's going on?
Because also, like, I feel like if I was to have written Ruin coming back to life, controversial opinion, I would have had Claudia be the one to die. Have Claudia die, and Viren then kind of turn to the dark side. Like,
Okay.
he's kind of like going through this whole, I don't really want to do all this, and then Claudia either dies or like gets killed or something like that. That turns him, and you see the parallels between him and Erebos now, because that's kind of what happened with Erebos. Like, he was okay, and then his daughter dies, and then also just again, I know I said it was dumb, but it's like it could have been good, just make it a bit better.
What, him, Viren or Arvis?
Erebos, and even then, I would have had Erebos's backstory be a lie.
Yes,
That
because
he
I
actually
feel like
lied
at some
about the
point it didn't
daughter.
feel real. Because
He never feels genuine enough. So like I'm saying, even when he's like, Claudia's my daughter, I'm like, I don't think he actually cares.
Yeah.
But apparently he does.
Because I was also just thinking about like in Gentry Chow with is it the Mogwai? And how he had, well, not the Mogwai, but Chen. He had that whole daughter thing. And then when there was the thing of the powers being in Gentry, and he's like, I'm gonna kill her. But then Gugu's like, no, you wouldn't do that because of your past with your daughter.
And that was a real
makes it
thing.
more
Yeah.
genuine.
Yeah.
But like with this, it just feels so like, I'm just gonna say it just because it makes me look like, you
It
see
was
what I'm saying?
something. So like that's another thing. Like, so if Claudia had died,
I hate that we call her Claudia because it's
Viren gets to the dark side. Erebos lies about his backstory. It's that his daughter died. But there's more to it. So you see, like, there's still like an element of like mystery, I guess. Because like he's not a very mysterious person. He acts mysterious by like evading the truth, but he's kind of like basic. Like there's not enough complexity to him for there to be a mystery surrounding him. But yeah, so Viren's alive now, and Viren's bring Erebos back. And so you see Viren as an antagonist in that case would be better, because I also feel like
would be better.
I don't buy, because someone, I think that person or someone in the comments of that post said that they buy Claudia's turn to the dark side. I don't completely. I feel like it felt very much abrupt. And for her
she
dad,
saw like this dead animal and she was like, oh yeah, and she did dark magic and brought it back to life or something like that.
no.
There was something like
When?
that. Go when she was in the woods.
She killed a deer at some point to bring.
But didn't she use?
But it wasn't a magical deer. It was like just a normal deer. So it also begs the question, like, can you do dark magic with actual people and like human stuff, like human animals, human people?
Human animals.
Yes. Did I stutter?
I'm pretty sure he used dark magic
He
to
did.
do that. And like just to bring back your dark magic point
Oh,
of
yeah.
like what are they trying to do? Because here they are showing how he's using dark magic as a noble act. He's using it for good. And like Callum was also going to do the same thing. So I feel like it was just kind of getting twisted. It was just kind of getting, as much as I love his arc, and I think that as a character on his own, I feel like that was good, like in terms of character development.
for sure.
But in terms of the show, I just don't, especially because of the whole dark magic thing. That just kind of, it's just like, what are we supposed to feel about dark magic?
I think the Rayla section gets covered also with the Raylum section. Raylan Callum, the ship name, which is kind of messed up
This
because
ship is.
we'll talk about that shit in a second. I know it's like really messed up to like conflate her arc to also the romantic entanglement, but also that's kind of what the writers did anyway.
Yeah.
Because I read the comics,
How did you?
the one comic,
Oh.
which I also feel
Please,
like
you can't say comics and then.
I don't know if
say
there was more
one.
than one because I didn't buy the other one, but I know why they weren't together, and I'll explain it just now. But
What do
I
you mean they
also
weren't
feel like
together?
you know how at the beginning of season 4 they're not together. She left at some point.
Oh, okay.
She left for years, which doesn't actually explain what she was
4 years?
doing. 4 years. She left for 4 years.
Like many years.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably 3, I think. I think
Not
it's
4.
Oh, shut the shut up. I'll explain why she left us now, but it also doesn't really explain like where she was gone for all that time.
And also, I do not remember this. Wait, was this like after like they kiss and then like something like they have like a dispute and then she leaves? Was it like that?
No. So at the end of season 3, they're together. Beginning of season 4, they're not. So it's between that.
Together as in like physically or like in terms of a relationship?
They're in a relationship.
And then she left. I'm confused.
Oh my god. In season 3, they're in a relationship. In season 4, they are not. They break up between off screen.
Oh.
And I'm going to talk about that in just a second.
Okay,
It's when she
continue.
comes back with that ugly monkey thing.
Oh my god, wait, did it just come out of nowhere? Like, if you're just watching the show, it just came out of nowhere. I hate that thing. It's really ugly. Have you seen Karimi? That's who she's fucking with.
Karim?
No, wait.
Karimi?
I think she's from like Hello Kitty, but she's like black.
Okay, I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that. Listen, so the reason why they break up is also to do with Rayla's arc. Okay, which is why they get conflated because she's not really given the arc that she goes on influences her relationship with Callum. But I also don't really completely feel like Callum's dark magic influences his relationship with Rayla romantically. Like there is a point where she's very upset with him that he does it.
But it's not like that deep.
No, like when he goes into his coma, she's like, "No, you shouldn't have done that." Like she's saying to him as he's like in his feverish coma.
But did they
But
break
she
up
says
because of
either
it?
way, no,
That's
no,
what
that
I'm
okay, yeah. Because even when he uses it to like save her in season 5 with like the ocean thing, which is also so dumb because someone pointed out that it was literally all over those glow toads.
Was it because? Oh my god.
Yeah, like, and they literally
I
get
really
tortured
don't
because
like
of
the
it.
animals in this show.
We'll talk
I
about
really
it.
do
We'll
not like
talk
the
about
animals in
it
the show.
because it's giving you want us to buy merchandise. I will never.
Please.
I
I
will
wasn't even
never.
thinking about that.
No, because someone pointed out like on Reddit as well, like
Please.
that this is giving you just one. Like even like Zim not talking, I feel like was also to make him cuter.
But also, like, how do you have so many animals? Like, they added so many more, and
They did
they
nothing.
even talk?
They did nothing. Because yeah, I would get an Appa. I would get an Appa thing because he's not just there to be cute. He was actually very important to the story, very much so. Momo, yes, not to the same extent, but also like important to the story. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to get at is that basically Rayla has a whole thing where she has the people in the coins. She has her coins now, and she also killed Viren, but isn't convinced that he's dead.
She killed him.
Yes.
She killed Viren.
Yes, the first time.
No, he fell. Oh,
She literally like lunged herself at him, and like Callum saved her, but Viren died.
Okay.
Like season 3 was peak, and then I don't know what the rest happened.
Season 3 was when Viren died.
It was season 3 was the peak, and then it was just like a decline from there.
Please.
Yeah, season 3 is when Viren died for the first time. So my thing with Rayla is that in that Into the Moon comic, she's stressed that Viren isn't completely dead, and she wants to find a way to bring back the few people in the coin who heard her parents, her mom, her dad, and Runan, who is like her adopted dad. Now, mind you, I think I've already said this, but I just need to make it clear, like, why there's like different layers to this. For one thing, Runan did kill Harrow, yes. But to Rayla, when Rayla told him, hey, the dragon egg is actually alive, and I feel like this should be a priority over killing the king and his son. I didn't want to hear it, and then attacked Rayla. This is in season 1. I remember this very vividly. He definitely attacks her. And then, because she's the only one who doesn't die, because she's delivering the egg to the queen, her lotus flower is still floating, basically. And so, without any explanation, the Moon Shadow Elves agree that she must have betrayed the rest of them. They don't give her a trial, they don't give her anything. And the person who either does the spell or like could have had some say in it. Yeah, Runan's partner or husband.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. Oh, no, not the other guy. The other guy we don't care.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't care about him. He says, I don't know, go the Ifari.
Okay.
He says something like he regrets having to do it, but he doesn't care what she has to say. He still kind of like says, I'm glad you're alive, but like get out of here. So she's still basically banished. Just bear that in mind, that these are the people who are supposed to be her adopted parents. So now in the comic, the reason why her and Callum break up basically is that she feels like Callum isn't upset enough, something like that. And like they have
being banished.
No, just about everything. About the coins, about Vera not really being alive, not really being dead, sorry. Stuff like that. They have an argument. And in the heat of it, Callum brings up the fact that the person that she wants to bring back from the coin is the guy who killed his father. And then she doesn't really say enough about that and she leaves. And I think she like
you make a good point in there.
Yeah. I think she at some point enters the moon nexus and like can see the souls, but she can't bring anyone back. It was not really that necessary. The point is that they break up. She was basically looking for Viren, I guess, after She left, but like she was gone for 3 years. So I don't know what she was really doing in that time, aside from getting that ugly monkey. And so the point is that now, when she has the 3 pearls to bring someone back from the Nexus, and she's going to bring back Runan, her mom, and her dad, Callum does not, they don't have a reevaluation of that conversation where he's like, Runan did kill my dad. It's just kind of like he's okay with it
In
now.
season 7.
Season 6, I'm pretty sure it was. Because let's talk more about this choice now. So she learns that one of these pearls is actually fake, so it's only 2 people that she can bring back. She goes down, she meets her parents, who are sane and normal. Renan, on the other hand, has turned into a crazy, evil, dark spirit who, again, tries to kill her.
Wait, why did he turn but not her parents?
Because he had like bitterness or like something, like he like just succumbed to the darkness. I don't know. But the point I'm trying to get at is that I just feel like there was a very obvious decision. Her logic is that her parents have each other. Are they in hell? Yes, but they have each other. Or like, not really hell, but like almost hell. But Runan does not have Ithari. And so even though he's literally a demon monster crazy, she's going to bring him back and then just waste the other pearl. And I was very much against that decision. Because as I've said, I'm not saying that she shouldn't see Runan and Ithari as her parents. I'm just saying that as her parents, they have been pretty crap. So she could have just brought back her actual parents. And mind you, Ithari got captured for killing the king and also trying to kill the prince.
Sorry,
Runan. Her parents got captured for protecting the queen. And I feel like they should have brought back her parents in some way. You make up everything you do, just find a different way for her parents to come back as well.
But also, with the whole Renan killing the king, I thought it was mean of Rayla to be like, oh, Renan, when like, even though you want us to see his, I don't even know what point of view you can see, like you're killing my dad.
Yeah.
But like even if you want us to forgive him, why have we removed sympathy? Because it's like, oh, I know this person like is good deep down. Like, can you just acknowledge that he has hurt this other person and that that person he's hurt is valid in what he's feeling? Because she was very much like, no, why are you doing this type of thing?
Yeah.
And it's just like, why aren't you understanding?
And you know, more on that, just deep though, that Virion, for as evil as he was, did grow up with Callum and Ezran and was pretty normal for the most part. So you could also use like Callum could have also said the same thing about the fact that yeah, fine, maybe Virion trapped your parents in a coin to like Rayla. But like he was good deep down, and I want to bring him back to life and there's good in him. Do you see what I'm saying? Because like I think the show also does a thing where the elves and like the magic creatures, they treat them as wrong but justified. But the humans, but the humans are just evil. So Viren is evil. Fine, whatever, he's evil. But Runan is flawed. But then also like the craziest part to me was Ezrin being upset at Runan for just waltzing as if he didn't just kill his dad. And then he's saying we need to think of his punishment. And Rayla comes in saying he's not a killer, he's an assassin. Do you remember that?
Girl,
You see what I'm saying?
What's the difference? Girl, when you have good arguments and people, then they run away.
And like they really made it seem like Ezra was crazy, and even like them trying to create beef between Callum and Ezra in this season, I didn't care. I don't think it was worth it. I also don't buy that Callum would 100% betray Ezra.
Especially with what you're saying about the comics. Like if that's what he is feeling in the comics.
Oh yeah.
Like why did they suddenly like remove that element in the show? But did she even have an arc?
No, she had the whole thing with the coins, and I feel like I don't love the fact that she was just okay with losing her parents after all that. Like I just didn't really buy it. Like
Also,
after
sorry,
she
can
saw
I
them
just
in the
specify that? I
Nexus.
mean, like from after like the
Season
first
3.
seasons, like from there, like she kind of just.
That's kind of with everyone. Like I feel like they just kind of like don't know how to write their arcs anymore. And I feel like we should have had more of a thing where like yes, fine, she can resurrect Ruran, do whatever she wants to do, but also trying to figure out where she stands with the Moon Shadow Elves. Because she was literally banished from her home. She was only 14 when the show started. Sister child. Also, in the last season when like the guy was mad that his son died, he gave his heart. No, he gave his. What did he give for Zadia? No, I don't know what he gave. But like, if you watch the first season, there was definitely not a child there. She was the youngest person, and there was no 10-year-old boy. I do not care.
I feel like that guy also just came out of nowhere. Some people are just coming out of nowhere,
because
and
they felt, I feel like they realized that like Ithari was kind of like the villain more, so they had to put someone
Yeah.
else in there, even though every single person in that village didn't care that she got banished. And even the way that they talked about her parents, like just the way that the Moonshadow elves treat quote unquote traitors.
Let's just go over the animals.
The animals?
quickly.
Okay, yeah.
Because I have like a short point to make. Just that there were so many animals, and even then they didn't really develop that whole speaking thing. Ezran speaking to the animals. And I feel
Yeah.
like, what's that gloop's name?
The
What's it
gloop?
called? The big one. What's it called? Birds. Do you know what I'm talking about? The yellow girl.
The glow toad.
Yes, what's
Bait.
okay, yes. Not the gloves. It's not like it wasn't really communicating, but I feel like it was kind of communicating to everyone. Like everyone kind of translated whatever it was saying. So it removed that special animal talking element
Yeah.
of Ezran even more. And then even like what God.
Sorry, even like
even like what they were translating, it kind of just felt like, is that really what they're saying? I don't know how to explain it to you,
girl,
but it was
for
just kind
sure.
of like, wow. And it's like, oh, you want, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
just
he
wasn't
also
that
just kind of,
much.
yeah, like
And then the whole thing of like them getting more small.
glow toads, and then like having to like name them, and it was like a whole thing. Like it's just me the whole
Please.
time.
No, because why do I care? Oh my god, because they also hyped that up. I'm pretty sure that pirate was like, oh my god, my treasure, my treasure.
Oh, like he opens it and like
And then
something
it's like
glows, and like you
glowing.
need to go back for it. And then like because they steal it, they get captured and they get tortured, and
Yeah.
Callum has to do dark magic.
I'm like, all over animals. Just let them
Like
die.
I feel like it's sad to misunderstand me, but like I'm not throwing my life away and my
That's what I'm
friend's life
saying.
away because somebody has a bunch of kittens that they're gonna go sell to someone who's gonna kill them. That is messed up, and I do love kittens. And I would try my best to save those kittens, but at the same time, if it's like save the kittens
Or lose my
or
life, or like you die.
yeah, like then it's like it's a no from me,
Because I
bestie.
also feel like with that whole thing, it just like makes me think about how, if like I compare it to Avatar, Avatar had like a good balance of goofy and serious.
Yeah, and like a good one. And also
a
the
good
goofy
one.
was actually funny.
Yes, because I feel like with the goofy in this, it just feels so unnecessary. And like you're really, really building things up that like we're just all sitting there waiting for what's gonna happen, and you're here naming animals. Like I'm just there like
Yeah.
this is wasting my time. It's not
Yeah.
funny,
And you know,
it's
also
not
like when a
cute.
yeah, when a joke drags on for so long, it's not even funny.
With like the ship thing. It was so long. It's like, oh my god, the ship has sailed.
This ship
The
is
ship
frozen
is
in time. Will the ship ever sail again?
God,
It
I
used
was
to
like, how
sail.
have 10 minutes passed and man's is still talking about the ship? I
And
was
like
sitting there
because they
like,
just thought they were being clever. Please. Because also they
please.
spent a night on the ship and I think I forgot like what they were even doing in that show because
And then
I think I
Bates
was
was the
like
one
when
to
they were
try to
on
set
the
them up.
way to like
Oh
get
my
the
god,
map
wait.
to like get the map. No,
No,
they
it
had to
was
go on a
one
journey to
where
get
it's
the
the
map to
star.
get the map
No,
to get
this
to
isn't the map thing. This is the star. The star people.
they're not stars, the sky.
Sky, whatever star.
Also, can we please talk about how low their wings are? Like, I guess we need
Oh
to
my
get
god,
the
ew.
wings in the show get on my
It's
nerves.
giving the
The
Lorax.
fact
Why are
that
you flying with your ass?
the fact that Callum's wings, no, Callum's arms turn into wings pisses me off. The fact that the Skywing elves' wings are on, like, yeah, they're like lower back. Don't make me angry.
That's what I'm saying.
Just put
Because
them in the
also,
middle
like,
of the back. It's a
can we
basic
please,
yes. Do I care?
please,
No.
please? Because can we talk about the whole Callum thing? Because that was just awkward. Like, maybe you wanted to be different, but drawing that, why did you think this is cute? Because when he went to go and save Rayla and he was flying, and she had to hold on to him for dear life. Like, I would
And
draw that
also,
and feel
like,
like
the
this
arm
is
strength she must have endured because, like,
that's what I'm
she's not
saying.
like wrapping her legs around him as
It
well.
was
It was
just
just
the
the
arms
arms.
and like gravity,
And it
bro.
was
Like
like
they're high
so
up.
awkward to look at. Like
That's what I'm
this is
saying.
why
Like,
this
how
is
did
the
you
movie,
draw
but this
that?
is
And we're
so
like,
weird.
this is okay.
And like they also kiss as they're flying. Like I
Oh
just
my god, like no girl. Just give him arms because clearly you can have people with arms and wings.
I guess they
What's the other
didn't maybe
thing?
they didn't want him to like have to take off his shirt.
It's magic. Like are we somehow having logic now?
We could have also just like ridden around it. Like I don't
Yeah, that's what
care.
I'm saying.
Like I don't care if it like will just like bust through the clothes or like it's growing on the clothes. I don't care.
And then the Earthling. I feel
Oh,
well,
Terry.
didn't we only see one? Why didn't they
I think they had a season called Earth just because they needed to, but you don't really see anyone else.
that's what I'm saying. It was only
Someone said that it
him.
was really dumb that we'd never see him and Claudia like get together and like how they met and everything. I truly 100% thought that he was gonna be introduced to show how crazy she's gonna get and she's gonna use his body like for magic.
Please.
That's like every single time I always think that that's where it's gonna go.
Because
And then
also
it doesn't.
like
I'm like, so why is he here?
they
Sorry.
really hyped him up as being like, oh my god, this nice person, whatever. Maybe it's like to show how bad the dark magic can be. But I just feel like
He was too
especially
complacent in the dark magic, in my
that's what
opinion.
I'm
But
saying.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. First of all, it's like, oh, I'm so nice, but I'm just gonna let this girl do horrible things. Talk about it. But then also just like with him being so nice, like how did that not affect her? Like how did that not change her in a way? Because
Yeah.
it made it seem, especially after she was like, you're not gonna leave me because I'm gonna leave you first. And then they had that whole like cutting her hair, he made her leg, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be like her turning point. Not to say that every villain needs a
Yeah,
turning
yeah,
point,
I
but
was
like,
saying that it was gonna be like a moment to be like, I've gone too far, like I've been doing too much.
but then there was just that whole undoing. Like,
Even
it
like
just
the whole
didn't
thing,
matter.
I get why she would stay with him,
But why
but I
would
don't understand enough about why he stays with her. It's giving like out of
that's what I'm
obligation.
saying? Like, stand
Also, like
up.
for all that he sees, all the dark magic that he endures, he watches her resurrect her father, create
A
there's
weird
like that weird
goblin.
baby thing
Was
that
that not
she
what you're talking
kills.
about? The baby with that's
Erebos
very.
and yeah, Viren. And then she kills it. He watches all of that. But then the fact that Erebos takes a bird who has children
Yeah.
is where he draws the line. And I'm not saying it was like a cute thing to do,
Yeah.
but it's like you watched what was basically a sentient creature
Because
get
also like
killed for ritual sacrifice, but killing a bird is just too far for
and it
you.
wasn't even really about the bird, but rather that the bird was gonna go and feed its kids. But look,
Or I had unfinished business. A whole unfinished
oh
business
my
thing. I was like,
god,
shut
just
up.
shush. Because also I wouldn't mind it being a thing of like, this is my final straw. But like he never ever called out all of
He
this
was
other
never like,
things.
this is going
He
too
was just
far. Like, I don't like this.
he was kind of like sometimes he'd be like, and you just move on, carry on, do the next weird thing.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
that's why it just feels like, oh, this is where you draw the line. Not like as in this is my final straw type thing.
I didn't really, even like the whole thing where like Claudia doesn't tell him that she can't see the map to the Garden of Innocence and that they were using him. I was like, I feel like if she just said, hey, bestie, I can't see that. Can you
That's
do
what I'm
this?
saying.
He would have gone ahead because it's not like he stands up to her.
That's what I'm
It's not
saying.
like he's like, oh, wait, if you can't see it, then probably shouldn't be going. Like, even I was saying you have to lie to him. It just, all of the stuff in season 7, I'm like, why are characters doing what they're doing?
Because also with him being like the pure one, the one who can see, I just wasn't buying that because I feel like if
Also,
you're
like, yeah,
if you're
showing him.
complacent in like bad things, how are you pure?
Say it again.
That's not girl,
Say
please.
it again. Erebos could be killed properly. I don't get why he wasn't. Leola was killed by the council and not the
Who's
until her.
Leola?
Oh, okay. This is actually an interesting point. His daughter.
Oh.
So Leola was killed by the council and on the until her stars align anyway, but proper killed. How come they don't just kill Erebos after he caused the very chaos that they were worried about? Also, how does a star touch
Real.
Alp has a child? Was she born like any other creature, or was she born in the heavens and assume a mortal form? Very interesting
about
questions
it.
that we're not going to get answers to,
Yeah.
because I don't think we've been mad about this enough. But season 7 does not end conclusively. Season 7 ends like if it gets cancelled, we'll live. But they're kind of edging us. They're kind of like, oh my gosh, but don't you want to know if like Harrow is the bird and if Harrow's
I'm so
alive?
confused.
They're like kind of giving us promises of like what could come, but they don't have any confirmation that they're actually going to be renewed. And moreover, this season was so unbelievably horrendous that I wouldn't be surprised if they get cancelled. Even if they give us a glimmer of hope that they're going to do better, they've had time to do better and they didn't. So why would they do better
Please.
now? I think she's also a character that I really like when she first started, and then
This is the little girl.
yeah, the little sassy girl. And then she's there. She's not bad. She's just there.
She's just there.
She's like, I'm here. Yeah. Oh, also, we didn't mention this, but remember when they had to go to like that place that's overrun with like those dark creatures? That's how the queen gets bitten. It's like season 5, I think. So really dumb thing. So many dumb things. So they only attack at night. Those creatures.
Yeah.
So they had to
Why
go
would
during
they
the day.
there?
Firstly, I don't know why they wouldn't just like find a place next to the city and camp there, and then go first at like first sunrise. Because I think they left at sunrise and they only had a few more hours after the day when they arrived at that place. But fine. Callum finds this thing to bring back people from the Nexus and to like
Black people?
to bring back people from the Nexus and to get to Iris' prison, something like that. And instead of just like ripping the page out or just taking the book, he needs to read it there.
Yeah.
And so obviously the sun goes down. And then Zubea comes in and she shoots all of them with lightning at once. But then for whatever reason, she just stands there. Like I was just getting confused, like as to I was fine with like drama and conflict and people like needing to like get left behind. I think it's a fine trope to use. It just needs to make sense.
Yeah.
And everyone being like, no, leave me alone, I'll fight them off. Just fly. Like I think it was Amaya who was like, let me fight them off. You don't need to.
I really don't like it because I feel like this happens more than like not just in this show, but like with you're in a place where your time is ticking, and for whatever reason you decide to sit there and read, as if you can't just take.
You
who's
can just
who's there
carry
to
the
check out the book?
Like,
Is
what,
it
you trying to
illegal?
diplomatically, like,
Please,
it's anarchy. Oh yeah, sorry. This person doesn't matter. They named them.
it's the name that they were given.
One is called Hat. I'm pretty sure.
God,
I need to go to sleep.
that's what I'm saying.
This is so crazy because actually this says almost word for word what we've been saying. Someone calls out Rayla being kicked out of the Moonshadow Elves, and someone says, I would prefer it if Rayla had decided she didn't want to go back to such a toxic community. I love it, Thari, but how was it not addressed in season 7 that he literally goes to his daughter? I'm not even surprised anymore. Okay, I'm not gonna read through these anymore. I'm gonna like include this link in the description just to be like, if you want this, like almost everything that we've said is here. And yes, thank you for joining me for so long.
Thanks, Gyal.
Pretty gal, smart gal. Yeah. Bye bye.